Yo, what's up? All right. So this is Watchlist creation for what's tomorrow? 114. So I spent like an hour and a half looking around. I did not see anything else that I really liked outside of what I'm in. Um, Everything I show here, we're going to teach the yeet.substack.com. Watchlist tutorials. It's free now and forever. All right, plug out the way. Let's get to it. The first one was space. This one was kind of simple for me. I say space, I mean Virgin Galactic. I always call it space. What I saw was when we were right about here. One thing I like to do is use unusual whales to catch bottoms with charts. So when we actually got to about 10.1, $10.10, we saw that it had those two support bounces off of 10.10 there. And that was kind of a good sign that it might be the bottom. And then when I checked the flow, the 11 calls were also pouring in earlier that day at the same time. So that's something really, really strong to know, that if you see what looks like a bottom, look for flows changing, and it's a good way to find it. And you can see too, from when we caught it, it actually started going up. The only problem, of course, became the gigantic fucking tech slide that ruined my life today. So I have confidence in this position. I think that particularly I have confidence for this reason as I'm holding it. So remember how we talked about Bed Bath & Beyond and Zynga, micro orders adding up on these small premium stocks? You can kind of see, right, even though it was getting just hammered, right, like it ended, it's a 15-minute candle, ended red, or I think the end of the day was right about here. So it had that 15-minute candle that got gobbled up, but even though that candle got gobbled up, you can see here that the 114.11 was really, really active, and that actually was the contract that drew my attention, the 114.11. I kind of worked backwards there a little bit because I'm tired, but you're supposed to look at quick view first, which is what I did. And that shows you the contracts we're looking at. So I saw the volume on the 114 and the 121.11. I thought that was good and interesting. I thought it was particularly interesting, given the fact that this stock got like shithouse today. So when I see this to the end of the day, right, and then look more at the end of the day, and then more at the end of the day. So they really like these last 5 minutes on Virgin Galactic. So I went with the 121, give the whale a little time, or not even the whale, but give the flow a little time. So I feel good about this one because these macro orders add up, like we saw with Bed Bath & Beyond. One thing that I'm going to look at, remember, our order goes flow, and then we want to look at historical flow for subtext. What was cool here was that you saw call volume rise with the call volume rise with the put volume, which is a good sign because you would think that going down that slide, all you would have is just a huge spike in puts. I mean, obviously, some of them could be sells, but that's encouraging. The other thing that's encouraging is that the put call ratio dropped to 0.7. 0.7 is around where you could still consider it bullish, right? Like under 0.7 is bullish, like I said before. So we're kind of right on the cusp. It could be worse. One thing I do want to point out, though, and remind you is that these are like dumb metrics. So what I mean by dumb metrics is that they don't differentiate between sells and buys. So our next level of confirmation for tomorrow is going to be looking at this volume and open interest here. Check out my little circle thing. I love this thing. So I want to see this 19,413 volume be reflected in this open interest to know that these are contracts held and are bullish. What I want to see here, my little thing's like, there we go, circles back. What I want to see here is this volume translate somehow to less open interest tomorrow, meaning that they got rid of those put positions on the 121.11, which is the contract that we have. So all eyes on this shit tomorrow. Next up, Zoom. So this is going to be fucking Bed Bath & Beyond Part 2. I can feel it. This is like a little squirrely one. So when I got into Zoom, I did it because I saw high volume in those 172.50s when the stock was down at like 164 or something like that. So that's when I decided to get in. This blue box represents the stupid tech slide that ruined us, but we entered, I believe we entered right about here. So I entered there because the flow looked really good, considering it was outside the money on those contracts, right? Like you shouldn't see that when something's sliding that much. Why I'm encouraged, again, we see with the micro orders happening toward the end of the day. Not big, but like we saw with some other ones, look. So you see all these sells happening leading into the last half hour of the day. And then for whatever reason, the algos were set to buy it. I lost that page now that I just had. The algos are set to buy it in the last minute in these small little increments. So again, this is going to be one that we watch tomorrow. Premium or volume of calls rising with the volume of puts. Nice low PC ratio, actually dropped lower than the 0.73. I would love to see that get even lower tomorrow. And then two, we're going to be looking at the 121, 172.5. Or the 121 doesn't have that much volume. It was actually the 114. So the reason why that 114, 172.5 stuck out is because, again, short dated, really short dated, outside the money bets. And now we feel good because they closed on that without having like bullish robotic or whatever it was buying. Something tells me, I mean, my feeling was that it might be COVID news or something like that. I'm always trying to figure it out. I mean, it could just be that they're planning on pushing it tomorrow for whatever reason. But something tells me that something might come. So I went a little safer with the 170, gave it some time. But this is encouraging if this open interest holds tomorrow. All right, next, we got Vale. So here's why I liked Vale. It actually wasn't really the short-term action. Vale, look at that bullishness in the midst of a fall too. Vale was down like, let's see, Vale dropped 1.6%. It was actually doing really well before that slide toward the end of the day. You see my broken trend, which, of course, I always sell when it breaks trends, right, guys? Discipline. Clearly, I do not have it. So this is why I love Vale. I think this is my favorite of these three. Look at the volume on the 218.16, the 218.18. That's just like insanity. So I didn't want to go all the way up for 218 because that's like a leap. And honestly, the flow for all the other strikes looked like it was going to make a move before then, which it started to do again before the indexes slid. Not using indexes as an excuse. That's like weak sauce. Don't do that. But how many fucking days does NASDAQ fall 2.4%? And SPY dropped like almost 1%, I think. So I'm comfortable given that slide with the fact that the stock is only down 1.6%. To me, that's like strength in a weird way. So with these strikes, let me use my little teacher's circle thing. I'm feeling really good about this position. If things don't go crazy in the next couple days, I might roll out to that 218, just follow that whale. But I really, really, really like the action that I'm seeing here on it. Historical flow, our best friend. Look at this. This is the shit that excites me right here. You see that put premium remain flat. Let me get the circle out for this. But the call premium spikes right there. That's good shit. And then this one also deserves the circle. Circle of trust right here. See the put call ratio down to 0.07. That is just, my God. I don't even know what to say. Bullish as fuck. So what I'm going to want to see too, on this 121, I was noticing that they were looking at the 17s. So on the 121.17, I'm going to want to see this reflected in more open interest tomorrow, probably. And then also on those 218s. 218. Let's see, what was that again? The 18s. I'm going to want to see this also reflected with like a huge jump in the open interest. Remember, open interest has to be sticky, so we want the volume to stick with it. Those are the main three I'm looking at. People ask me about Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm out of it, and honestly, I have no fucking clue what it's going to do, if I'm just being honest with you. I am done chasing that crazy-ass whale. I never want to look at Bed Bath & Beyond again because I sold for like 200 and something percent, and it ran to like 600%. So you asked for the, I guess I'm being a dick, but people wanted Bed Bath & Beyond. And my honest answer is I don't know. I guess I'll be nice and like try to do one right now and see what they're doing on like the. So this is kind of my process. Like I first want to see what they're doing on the 121 probably because it's relatively close. Bed Bath & Beyond is at. Bed Bath & Beyond is at 15.10. So it's flagging there on the 15. Ooh. This might not be a bad play tomorrow if it gets above 15.44. I might give it another chance to get back in there based on the price action. So let's see what that 16 looked like to close the day. I'm sorry, my process is like, I'm pretty tired, so my process is kind of squirrely tonight. Bullish on the 16 to end the day, last half hour of the day. So, yeah, that deserves the circle. Let's give it the circle. Yeah. So that's that. And that's what I'm looking at tomorrow. Usually these are more like organized and structured. I am sorry. I'm a little mentally exhausted today. But I'll do like a full video breaking down each of the steps this weekend. I promise.